Miles,
Bing.
hi. Where are you? Is that a shower curtain?
Oh,
Is that an actual
no,
background? Is that the
no.
forest?
This is the real world,
Oh,
Mark. I
okay.
am doing the podcast deep within the Siberian forest. It is freezing.
Got Wi-Fi there.
I just saw an elk
Uh-huh. Oh, nice.
and a reindeer. This is where they come from, Mark.
Uh-huh.
And it is beautiful here. Um, I'm
Why are
serving a
you
little.
there? Why are you in the middle of
I'm serving a little
Siberia?
time out here.
Yeah.
Yes,
I hope you're enjoying your time there.
I am.
So I have to tell you about my son here. My son gives me a hard time
Yeah.
when I get really, really mad at something that's inanimate.
Oh,
Like if I'm trying to change the battery on the smoke alarm and I
yeah.
can't quite figure out how to pop that 9 volt out of there, I get so frustrated. And then I start
Right.
cursing at it and I start talking to the smoke alarm
Mm.
as if it can hear me and feel how upset I am.
Damn
Or
you, smoke
I
alarm.
know,
I
and
hear ya.
he's like, Dad, why are you getting mad at the smoke alarm? Or
Mm.
especially with AV stuff, like when you're trying to plug an HDMI cord into the back of a TV and you can't get it in there, and you start sweating, and you get a
Right.
flashlight out, and that's not going to help you anymore. And I start getting really, really mad at my HDMI cable,
Yeah.
and I
And
say, "Oh,
HDMI actually sounds like a real thing.
it it is
Is it?
HDMI. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a
Mm.
cord that you plug into your TV. You're not familiar with it?
No,
Oh,
no.
so I start cursing it and saying, "Oh, I wish I could take you to court." And then it made me start to think, like, what if household objects and hardware had feelings? I mean, I wonder if they feel hurt. And if they feel hurt, do they have a sense of self? And if that's the case, can they potentially
Mm.
sue me for neglect and abuse for all those times I've talked poorly to it? I mean, it's worth thinking about, right?
Right. All those times that I poured hot coffee into this poor little mug,
Oh, that poor
I'm
mug.
absolute abuse.
Right. And you see that it's been stained over the years. Like
A
those bruises are
classic,
permanent
a classic case of domestic violence.
against your coffee mug.
Coffee
Yeah.
mug.
So we're going to explore that topic of household objects and their rights on today's episode of Pull My Leg. On most podcasts, the podcast host will interview their subject and then they go back and do the introduction. So, you know how you hear intros like saying, our guest today, he's going to talk about his childhood growing up in Charleston and how he
Yeah.
was a teacher in the classroom for 10 years. But we don't know any of that. We don't interview first. We do the intro first and then we interview. So we could make up stuff that he's going to talk about. Like, what do you think our guest is going to talk about today, Miles?
Well, I hope it's about a pair of scissors.
Uh-huh.
I hope he's going to talk about, what it's like to have all of these concerns about these household objects or objects that you think of as everyday objects at your office. I mean, do they have feelings? I'm really hoping that we're going to delve deeply into that because I've always been fascinated by
I think that's
the
safe to
hammer.
say. I think we
Mm,
are. I think we are going to do that.
yeah.
I hope he talks about pizza because I love pizza. But we'll
Oh,
see.
yeah.
I maybe he'll touch upon that
I mean,
subject.
how
Well,
would you feel if every time you came out of the oven and people are just like staring at you,
yeah,
like they just want to consume you? I mean,
right. Yeah, you know what? I've
man,
never thought about it like
what
that.
am I, a piece of meat? I mean,
Uh-huh.
that's probably what the pizza's saying.
Right. Well, today's expert maybe can help us with that. His name is Stanley Farnsworth, Esquire. That means he's a lawyer. He's a
Hmm.
trailblazer in the emerging field of object law. And after graduating
Wow.
top of his class from
Hmm.
Yale Borough Law School in Pensacola, Florida, he made a bold choice to turn down offers from top firms in order to focus exclusively on household object rights. So, over the last 30 years, he has successfully litigated cases on behalf of toasters, recliners, and even a Roomba with abandonment issues.
Hmm.
And he is the author of Justice for Jars, a legal framework for masonry in the modern kitchen. And he has a TED Talk. If you've checked it out on YouTube, be sure to search it if you haven't seen it. Do doorknobs deserve due process? It's been streamed over 12 times. So when he's not in court, he enjoys giving pro bono counsel to confused alarm clocks and mentoring young salad tongs on their legal journey. So let's welcome warmly Stanley Farnsworth. I misspoke in your intro. You actually studied at Yale Law School, and it seems like a pretty big deal. But is there any part of you that felt like you were ripped off because you had to live in Connecticut, a state that most people mistake for Rhode Island?
Yeah, I mean it's not a very lovely state. People don't visit there. There's not a lot to do. It's boring. So
Yeah,
yeah, and the tuition was excessive and not necessary, and I
right.
could have gone other places, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, sure. Now, you've taken such an interesting angle advocating for the overlooked, the unwashed, the underappreciated appreciated items of domestic life. What appliances are the hardest to represent?
Oh, many. And the problem is in a country where Congress is concerned about rights
Hmm.
of
Sure.
young and people and sick and all of those things, no one really cares about appliances. So I find almost every appliance is difficult to represent.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Well, in 60 seconds, this is something we like to do. We like to put 60 seconds on the board, and we want you to explain to us why object law is important and why it makes our world a better place to live in. So I am just going to set this at 60 seconds. And are we
And
ready? So this is your
Stanley,
opportunity to tell
S-
us why
S-
it's important.
and
There we go.
Stanley, I think your tie is upside down. Is it possible
Is
that a
it?
bow tie could be? I think it is.
Well,
It looks dapper, though.
Is it
maybe it's
possible?
me that's upside down for this
Oh,
effort.
Oh,
it
if
wouldn't
you
be the
stand on your
first
head,
time, right,
Miles,
Mar?
you'd probably be fine. What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So,
It wouldn't
okay.
be the first
So
time.
I'm looking at the, okay. So 40 seconds left. So object law, why is it important?
It's important because no other lawyers really care about protecting the rights of objects. And so, for example,
Hmm.
the toilet plunger. Now, when you think of the toilet plunger, there's absolutely no respect. And you look at what it does,
Yeah,
and it's a very nasty job sometimes,
sure.
and no respect. And does anyone ever say to the plunger, "Do you mind if I put you in the toilet?" No.
No,
So
right.
I feel the need,
Terrible.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
Terrible.
I get it. That's great. And you look at that. You came in just in time. We had a couple of extra seconds, but I'm just going to put this away here. That's good. That's a really good explanation. Object law is important. Have you ever had to litigate any cases that involve appliance custody battles?
Oh, all the time,
Oh,
all the
really?
time. Yeah, the people that get divorced fight over children and houses and dogs and cats, and there's a lot of notoriety to that. Reported cases that have gone to the Supreme Court, but I've had to deal with air fryers. In today's
Oh,
world,
yeah.
the air fryer is a very important household appliance, and people get used to their air fryer. So. You get a divorce. I want it. No, I want it. Well, I'll give you the whatever dollars we paid for it. No, I want it
Yeah.
because I made your first birthday dinner with it. Yeah. So, yeah, those are tough.
Yeah.
And
What about,
Stanley,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
imagine that a piece of gum coming out of the wrapper, a nice, shiny, foiled wrapper with sharp edges, so much promise.
Mm,
Piece of gum has dreams, and then 30 minutes later, after being popped in the mouth and chewed and beat
yeah.
up and pulverized, and then spit out like a
Like it didn't
old
even
piece of
exist.
gum, an old piece of gum spat in the trash bag.
Absolutely. I mean,
It's
there's no reason.
heartbreaking.
It is, it is. And sometimes people want to save that piece of gum, but
Mm,
maybe it's been in a mouth that's very nasty or
yeah.
smelly or got chunks of it, food in there and the teeth. And yeah,
Yeah.
there's no respect. And who cares? Does anybody ever speak up to the foil wrapper or the bubble gum?
No, I've never
It's,
thought of
No,
that.
that's
yeah,
why you're
yeah.
here. That's why we appreciate
Shedding
you.
a whole new light on the subject.
Yeah.
Should I turn my bow tie around to the other side? Will that make you happier? I don't want
No,
to
I'm
offend.
I'm pretty happy right now. By the way, you look absolutely
Hmm.
stunning today,
Well,
handsome
thank you.
man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Which
that.
reminds me, today's episode of Pull My Leg is brought to you by Mama's Southern Country Grits, made
Mm.
with actual street grit. At Mama's, we believe your breakfast should crunch back. Choose from authentic flavors like New York City Street, Old Country Dust Road, or our new holiday favorite, Back Alley Broken Glass and Rusty Can. Nothing says morning comfort like shrimp, a dirty shoe, and the faint taste of regret. Mama's Southern Country Grits, packed with fiber, flavor, and possibly a small rock bottle cap or a used bandage. Available exclusively at your favorite gas station, right next to the windshield wiper fluid and expired milk. And you know, Mark, what they say at Mama's Southern Country Grits, it always tastes better with a strong antibiotic chaser. Back to you, Mark.
It's the Band-Aid that makes it special,
Yeah.
that
Oh, I
flavor.
understand.
You can
Yeah.
taste that for days afterwards. So slip and fall cases, Stanley, they can get pretty commonplace when a judge hears testimony from rugs that get blamed for tripping humans. What usually ends up being the outcome of these trials?
Well, people that file lawsuits always want money, and it costs money to fight the lawsuits, and they settle them, and it's a confidential settlement. But the tragedy is your example about the rugs.
Yeah.
Whoever takes into mind, the respect and the dignity of a rug. A rug is an essential item everywhere you go, in your home, in your car.
Hmm.
And people, what do? They schlep just nasty everything onto them. And most of the time they don't clean them or vacuum them.
It's
It's
like the
disgusting.
plunger of the living room.
Oh,
Yes, yes,
absolutely.
it is. Yes, it
So
is.
Yeah.
are my dogs committing a crime or being abusive every other day? They have accidents on the carpet
Oh,
or on the rugs or on the floor.
I think Congress needs to pass some laws regulating dogs and their urine and their
mm.
defecating on rugs because we're just not taking into consideration the needs and the dignity of a rug.
Mm.
It's terrible. I find it very offensive.
Don't tread on me takes a whole new
Of
meaning.
course.
Yes,
So,
yes.
And my dogs, they're animals. They
yeah,
misuse
they
and
act like
abuse.
animals, don't they?
Absolutely.
And dogs aren't mentioned in the Bible. So I think
Oh,
in today's world where we're concerned about people's religious rights, you might incorporate those as well, that, dogs maybe shouldn't be involved in life.
And
yeah.
I interpret the Bible literally. So if they're not mentioned, they don't exist.
Speaking of the
Sure.
Bible, my favorite passages are when they talk about, or when the Bible is they, talks about sandwiches. What kind of bread would you demand to be served on if you were a sandwich?
Before I proceed and answer your question, I'm just curious, am I being paid today for this? I just want to make sure that the check arrives at an
Yeah.
appropriate
Oh, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stanley, those dollars have rights as well. Those inanimate
They
objects.
do. They
Yeah.
do.
We're negotiating with them right now. They've
Okay. And
unionized.
and on my island where I live, we have specific Bitcom obligations and
Sure.
responsibilities because the federal government, of course, is imposing those now. So yeah.
Yeah. We
So
usually
Sam,
send bars of gold, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, good question about the sandwich. You think about it, so you've got two pieces of bread that are
Mm,
minding their own business. And
mhm.
then all of a sudden someone wants to slop mayonnaise or
Oof.
schmaltz or
Yeah.
ketchup.
Yeah.
And,
Ketchup's
some
good.
people want to offend the bread by putting a hot dog and ketchup on it at the same time. You can't do that. It's just wrong. And does anyone ever apologize to the bread? No.
No.
So what kind of bread would I want to be? I don't think in today's world I would want to be a piece of bread.
Yeah. It's getting
Mm.
hard out there for bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
In your opinion, do recliners have the right to unionize?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Think of a recliner. People plop themselves in it. They slop food all over it. They
Hmm.
drop popcorn. They're eating nachos and they drip the salsa all over it. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they need to go to the bathroom and they're not in a hurry because they're watching their favorite movie.
Yeah.
And there's again, it's a question of respect. So
Yeah.
yeah, they do have
Heartbreaking.
rights.
That's
Absolutely
rough.
heartbreaking. Yeah.
So let's say, Stanley, you're at karaoke night. First of all, it's a two-parter. What is your go-to song? And the second part
Oh.
is, do you believe that the microphone has to consent to the performance? So should you ask permission before you sing into the microphone?
Sure, sure. Well, one of my favorite karaoke songs is Toaster by the Muffs. You probably have never heard of that.
No, I'm
Love
going to
that
search that
song.
one.
But
Oh my
there's
God, love
there's
it.
Oh, you love it?
my all-time best is Normal is Just the Setting on a Washing Machine by Bernice Lewis in 2001.
Oh,
And that one you can really rock with. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's
Stanley, you're
awesome.
singing my song right
Yeah,
now.
I love
yeah,
the
yeah.
extended version of that song. But ultimately, though, do
So
you have to ask the microphone for permission, though?
I think you do
Yeah.
because some people slobber on the microphone. Some people have a runny nose and it drips on the microphone. And have you ever been to a karaoke where somebody wipes off the microphone, gets one of those
Yeah.
cloths with alcohol to it, so the next person picks it up and you got all the germs on it. But
Yeah.
forget that person's rights. What about the microphone? No one
Hmm.
cares. No
Yeah,
one cares.
I'm going to start treating my microphone
Yeah.
differently
Yeah,
from
me
now
I
too.
hope
on.
so.
Yeah.
I hope
You're so
so.
good.
So
Hold on.
Stanley,
I'm
we have
sorry a
a
second. You're so
yes.
good to me. I appreciate everything that you've done and the work that you put in every single podcast. So thank you.
Hmm.
I had to give it a little
Aw,
kiss. Yep.
that's
Wait a minute. Have you guys, do you guys, okay. But you just kissed that microphone.
I
Did
did.
you think about wiping it off
I
or
didn't.
asking to slobber on it? I mean,
No, you're right. You're right.
that's
Oh,
terrible. That's
you're,
just
thank you
terrible.
for
well,
raising awareness for me.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
very
You know,
nice.
I was thinking, how do you address allegations that Tupperware lids simply vanish as a way to avoid testifying in
Oh,
court?
that's I've written some law reviewed articles on that.
Hmm.
So you think of Tupperware, and what's the first thing you learn? The first thing you learn is you have to burp it. Now, has anybody ever asked you if they can burp you? When you're a baby, they burp you
Yeah,
because you can't speak.
that's right.
But the poor Tupperware doesn't have that right. So when you say Tupperware lid, I need you to testify in court, it's explainable why they would disappear. So I don't have a problem why they do. I have a problem why we're forcing the public to burp something that shouldn't be burped.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right. You know, back to something that Miles said earlier about that chewing gum. It's just that's all I've been thinking about. I'm thinking about a flavor of chewing gum right now. What
Okay?
flavor am I thinking of? Stanley?
Ooh, I'm looking at your face, and you look like a guy that likes some cinnamon, something with real
Ooh.
spice in it.
I'm not kidding you. That's exactly right. I am thinking of
Really?
cinnamon gum.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how
Okay.
you did that. I'm
Well,
not even going to you,
Amazing.
Miles. That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
my father was Karnak. You may have seen him on TV,
Oh
but
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Karnak
I've
the
seen him before.
Magnificent.
Sure.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
That's worth Googling and YouTubing later. Is
yeah.
there a precedent for appliances refusing service? For example, a toaster that declines to toast bagels.
Oh, one of my leading cases. So when I was at Yale and they were cheating me and charging me too much tuition, there was a nice little breakfast shop, and you would go in there, and next door to it was a kosher deli, and
Mm,
they had great big fat bagels, and you got your money's worth. Now, the problem was the deli would buy their bagels next door, and they would toast them, and they were twice the size of the
mm.
toaster.
Ooh,
And they were causing stress and strain on the toaster.
Yeah.
So the toaster came to me and said, "Hey, don't I have any rights in here? I mean, they're leaving all the crumbs in there. No one cleans it out. It smells. The onion overtakes everything else that's put in there,
Right.
and
sure.
Right.
they're too fat and they're stressing me."
Yeah.
And we went to court and we were entered into a confidential settlement agreement,
Right.
Oh,
but we
can't
had to
talk about it.
use better efforts to cut the bagel before we
Right.
put it in that toaster. So yeah,
Yeah, to make it more manageable.
yeah.
Have you ever had to cross-examine a ceiling fan? And if so,
Oh,
what's the first type of question you ask when they're under oath?
oh, absolutely. How do you feel about making people making you spin around and get dizzy? I mean,
Uh-huh.
how many times can the blades spin around before they become dizzy?
Right.
It's terrible,
For
terrible.
me, it's just two. It doesn't take much for me. If I were suspended from the ceiling and spun
Yeah,
around, two times is my max. In
yeah.
your expert view, do hangers have the right to personal space?
Hangers.
Yes.
I never quite thought about that, but I mean, I began my presentation that all objects have rights and need to be respected. So
Yeah.
I guess in a worst case scenario, if someone's out jogging and they're schwitzing and they're soaking wet and they've got mud on them and it's raining, and they put them on a hanger to kind of dry out
Yeah.
before you put them in your washing machine, which again has rights. They get offended when people put nasty clothing in there.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I think hangers do have a right.
Yeah.
And speaking of rights and being heard, my phone is begging me to move along with this important meeting that I have.
Really?
You do? Can I
Yeah,
finish with one really important question, Miles,
please,
before you go to
please.
your meeting? Um, Stanley, I would like to know who are your top five celebrities that you think could actually fix a clogged sink? Top
Ooh,
five celebrities.
five. Well, I can't think of his name right now, but the guy who did the commercials on TV for the plungers and
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah, he'd be good
substances
for
to
sure.
clean it, he'd be
Yeah.
awesome. I think there was a former city councilman in Carmel, Indiana, who was very famous. That would probably be one of my top five.
Right.
Uh, I had an old rabbi growing up before I lived on the island that I think would probably have a
Yeah,
lot of experience in that area.
sure.
I think
I love that
number
these are celebrities that the majority of us have heard of. That's what I love
yeah,
about your
well,
answer. Yeah.
and number four would be probably Mark Sanchez, a former quarterback for an
Hmm.
NFL
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He'd
yeah,
probably be very
and
good at
then
that.
I think my last would probably be the current president of the United States. I think he would be very good at that.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with the guy who played MacGyver.
Well, that's probably not a bad one. He'd be on
Yeah.
my B list, I think, you
Yeah.
know?
Sure. Well, you are on our A list for sure. A man who has reminded us that justice isn't just for people, it's for couches, it's for hot plates, it's for the occasional carrot peeler. So thank you so much for your service. And thank you for coming on Pull My Leg.
You have been
And my pleasure.
wonderful, Reginald.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Miles, it's time for your favorite part of the show. Ask us anything. We have received so many letters this week. It's hard to know where to start. So I'm just going to reach into the mailbag and grab one letter. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, here we go. This comes from
Mm.
Gary G Money Walters. I want to know why they call him G Money, but there's no explanation of
I'm
that.
afraid to ask.
I know. He lives in Poughkeepsie, New
Mm.
York. Gary wants to know, Miles, what's the proper number of ha's in a polite laugh, both in person and over email? Typically, it's like in threes, but what's the proper amount of ha's in person and then via email?
Mark, you're almost right. Gary, thanks for the question.
Hmm.
It is six. And there's a real fine line here
Okay.
because if you go too many, then it's just awkward. Nine.
Insincere.
Once you
Yeah.
hit nine, it is insincere, and it becomes awkward. Everybody is like, "Wow, it wasn't even that funny," and is
Hmm.
he being rude?
Right.
But if you go too few, let's say two or three, again,
Yeah.
insincerity.
Right.
Hey, don't you think I'm funny? Don't you respect me? Lots of friendships have been lost over this.
Yeah.
So the perfect number is five, six. Ha, 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 ha. Perfect.
Okay. 5 to 6
That
ha's.
that is humor,
But
right? That is humor.
what about email? I mean, we're so used to LOL and then LMAO, but is there a proper amount of ha-has that you're supposed to put in an email?
It can be. I mean, nobody has the time like they used to. So
Mm,
back in the olden days, I would say the 2014s when email was still a thing. I
sure.
don't know about you, Mark, but I would be sending out jokes and sometimes somebody would give me a 50 HAHAHA.
Ooh,
And
50.
in Latin America, it's JAJAJAJA, and it goes on and on and
Yeah.
on. And by the third page of reading those ja-jas or ha-has, I mean, you know the story. It really just gets old after a while.
Yeah, because I would read each
Every
individual
single
ha.
one, right?
Yeah.
Because you're never sure if there's going to be an accent mark or an
Hmm.
exclamation point. Add an exclamation point at the end, and you know that this was a genuine laugh. Well, thank you very much,
Right.
Gary. That's terrific. Thanks for the question. Please keep them coming. This
Sure.
next question, Mark, I believe is for you because it says, Dear Mark, Dear Mark, is there a proper protocol when giving a high five? I'm super tall and I tend to date women who are, let's say, fun sized. My high five usually turns into more of an underhanded scoop. Is that still called a high five or is that a low four? I don't
Mm.
know. Also, since everyone knows you're basically the Dalai Lama of dating, do you think it's still appropriate to end a date with a high five? And on a related note,
Oh my gosh, don't do it.
what about funerals?
Oh god.
Signed, Don't leave me hanging. From Felix in Florida. Oh, P.S. Mark, how long can you hold your breath underwater?
We'll
What
get back.
is going on?
I refer you to earlier episodes for the answer to that last part of your question. Okay. It's now up to 8 seconds. Thank you for asking. There's a lot to answer in that, Felix. So let me start with the first part. I love, Miles, how you think I'm so good with the ladies. It's almost as if
Oh,
you're
it's not
mocking the
me.
fact that
It's
I'm
not
not.
me.
Oh,
Right.
that's right. It's
It's
our
not me.
listeners. It's our
Right.
viewers.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, I'm a little bit of an expert on the high
Mm.
five. I learned something a long time ago that if you want to execute the perfect high five, when you're going to high five someone, you look at the other person's elbow. And when you look at the elbow, you're guaranteed to get a nice smack, palm to palm. So you should try that out. Look at someone's elbow. Try it just with a random stranger. Hey, can I high five you? And see how that goes. But that's not really what this question was about. The underhanded scoop high five.
Sometimes it's hard to remember what the question is
Yeah,
about,
that's
isn't it?
right. There's so many questions in there. I just know I need to practice on holding my breath. So there's nothing wrong with a tall person doing an underhand low five, right? I mean, the down low maneuver to a shorter person has been around for generations, right? You've heard of up top, down low. I mean, that's why that variation exists, I think, for this various scenario. But I would sway away from high fives on dates, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, nothing says friend zone better than a high five, right? And if you say, hey, all right, up top, high five, and then say, thanks, bro, to your date, that guarantees no second date. Also, give me some skin. Although that's fine with your friends, you don't want to say that on a date either, because that
No.
might be misconstrued. So thank you, Felix. Wonderful question. Appreciate it. Truth bomb time, Miles. Truth bomb. The truth about legal rights of objects. So technically, this is going to come as a shocker. Objects don't have legal rights. Only people and legal persons like corporations. So that's right. Corporations are treated as people in the eyes of the law. But here are some fascinating exceptions and close calls. Ships, SHIPS, can be sued,
Oh,
meaning
yeah.
the ship itself is a defendant. So there was a case, United States versus the Little Charles in 1818, where the U.S. sued a ship. Rivers and natural entities like New Zealand's Wanganui River, or is it Wanganui? Wanganui. They've been granted legal personhood to protect them. And
Okay.
smart devices like Alexa and Roomba, cancel. She heard me there in the background, have been subpoenaed for evidence in real criminal cases. So not as defendants,
Unbelievable.
yeah, but as witnesses. So while a toaster can't hire a lawyer yet, the legal world has flirted with the rights of things, and with AI and robotics coming along the way it is, who knows? Maybe it won't be theoretical for much longer. Maybe it'll be a real deal and legal rights granted to all household objects. We can hope, right?
Well, and there you have it, folks.
Here you have it.
Inanimate objects can be sued. A ship, just like you or me, can have a bad day and they can literally be up Ship's Creek.
Well done, Miles. Very well done. So, what is coming up on next week's episode of Pull My Leg? Any
Oh,
idea?
I'm so glad you asked, Mark.
Yeah.
There is some new research. Did you ever think about, did our forebears and dinosaurs ever break bread together, share a little piece of this beautiful land we call Earth? Well, new research shows from Helsinki claims early humans and dinosaurs once shared this great blue-green marble that we call Earth.
Oh,
But were we terrified prey? Or did we domesticate T-Rex and call him Fido? Join us as we dig into prehistoric relationships, emotional support velociraptors, dino-sized accidents in the house / cave, and what a doodle Dilophosaurus mix actually looked like.
I've never heard of
Next
that
week. Oh my God,
brand of
I'm on
dinosaur.
pins and needles.
You know, I feel like I've always felt for a long time the Flintstones was a documentary. I
Oh,
mean, they had
absolutely.
dinosaurs and humans
Right.
living together. Yeah. So
Right.
I can't wait for that. So, everybody, if you like what you hear, which we know you do, please follow us on YouTube so you don't miss an episode. Check us out on Instagram. We're not very active, but still, wouldn't it be cool to follow us on Instagram? And email us at pullmylegpodcast@gmail.com if you want your questions answered on our show. So, Miles, anything in closing you want to add, or do you just need to get out there and do your hard labor there in Siberia.
Well, I'm a little late for hard labor, so I better get out. I've got some trees to cut down and some steel beams to cut.
Right, sure. Well, Miles, take this advice from me. I want you to do your best. And if that doesn't work, redefine what best means. So long, everyone.